So it seems that the anti-MLM community is really starting to get under the skin of so-called MLM gurus. In fact, myself and my friend and fellow YouTuber Savy Writes Books, we recently got into a bit of a heated exchange with one of these so-called MLM gurus. Before I go any further, for those who don't know, MLM gurus, who are also sometimes referred to as MLM trainers, sell training courses for those trying to learn the ropes of the MLM industry. They have a very similar vibe to the business or motivational gurus you can find on YouTube, but they specifically target those in the MLM industry. Just like a lot of business or motivational gurus, they often give very generic advice, make heavy use of Barnum statements, and are solely interested in giving their listeners warm fuzzies so that they can upsell them on their next training course. They usually offer little in the way of practical tools and are really trying to sell people on this unachievable fantasy life. Most MLM gurus claim to have made millions from their own MLM business, but for many, it's questionable whether or not this is actually the case. It could be argued that they make a whole lot more money by teaching other people how to be successful rather than actually being successful themselves. And this brings us to an MLM guru named Tim Sales. Tim calls himself a professional network marketer. It appears as though he's a top earner in an MLM company called RX, and he claims to have had several seven-figure years as a distributor for RX. I can neither confirm nor deny this, so I'm going to have to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that this is all true. Tim also runs a YouTube channel where he produces MLM training videos, and for the past year or so, he's been focused on debunking the criticisms of the anti-MLM movement. For a while, he was preoccupied with debunking a very well-known anti-MLMer he refers to as Kylie. I'm sure you guys can guess who that is. But recently, he posted a video with a thumbnail that had a very, very familiar face on it. Tim's thumbnail had none other than our beloved gay aunt from the 80s, Savy from Savy Writes Books. And the title of his video? Your prospect just saw an anti-MLM video. What do you do now? Yes, MLM gurus are literally having to teach their followers what to do if someone they're trying to recruit watches an anti-MLM video. We've got them shaking in their boots, guys, and I honestly take this as a really good sign because this just means that the voice of the anti-MLM movement is getting out there and changing the public perception of MLMs. As soon as Tim's video went live, I of course watched it because he put my friend's face in his thumbnail. And boy, was it a hot mess. The title of his video made it seem like he was going to give advice to his followers on how to handle recruits who have watched anti-MLM videos. He did do this, but he also spent a good chunk of the video trying to discredit anti-MLMers as a whole. I believe in an attempt to dissuade his own followers from watching anti-MLM content. Savy, myself, and a few others went to the comment section to contend with some of the claims that Tim made in his video, which started the epic comment section wars of 2020. But you won't see any of my comments there because as soon as I asked him to back up the claims he made in his video with research or sources, he hid all my comments from public view. Tim might be able to stop me from commenting on his videos, but he can't stop me from making videos of my own. So today, I'm going to go through his video and contend with some of the claims that he made. I, of course, had to enlist the help of Savy, so she's going to be hosting a section of my video. Over on Savy's channel, she and I reacted to the very infuriating comment section, so after you're done watching my video, make sure you check out her video as well. It's pretty crazy. At one point, Tim calls us high school mean girls. Yeah. Obviously, I'm a little bit more worked up in this video than I normally am, but I do want to discourage my followers from going over to his video and leaving any type of hate comments. On the other hand, if you want to go over to his video and critique what he's saying and ask him questions, I do condone that. Open debate is important, and I always recommend critiquing ideas rather than people. Ad hominems are useless in any debate, so I ask my followers to refrain from using those type of arguments. All right, let's rock and roll and get this show on the road.
Are you ready to rock, Squidward?
No.
Good!
Hi, Tim Sales here. In this video, I'm going to be talking about your prospect just saw or heard anti-network marketing information. Now, what do you do? And so when there are people who are out there and doing anti-stuff, they are omitting a lot of things because they don't know what they're talking about. They only heard it from somebody else. And so they're just regurgitating the same thing. The media does the same thing. They don't know their subject necessarily. Some do. Some take the time to know what should be there and would be able to tell you, hey, this has been omitted.
Right off the bat, Tim claims that anti-MLMers don't know what we're talking about and that we're just repeating things that we've heard. He starts his video by attacking us as people and our credibility rather than taking on what we're actually saying. This would be the same as me making the claim that anyone who joins an MLM is just gullible. This is called an ad hominem attack, which is a fallacious argument that attacks a person's character or motive rather than taking on the substance of the argument itself. Worst of all, these personal attacks are rarely true and just serve as a distraction from the real argument to be had. It's not true that anyone who joins an MLM is just gullible, just as much as it's not true that anti-MLMers don't know what we're saying and just repeat things. I really wish Tim would have focused on our arguments against the MLM industry rather than trying to discredit us as people. Now, he claims that anti-MLMers omit data. I wasn't exactly sure what he was referring to here, but he does get to the data that we're supposedly omitting at the end of his video, so I'll wait till later on to respond to that. He also claims that we're all just repeating things we've heard from other people. He doesn't say this exact phrase in this video, but I've heard him say several times in his other videos that there are apparently only 6 true anti-MLMers and that we're all just repeating what they say. Now, my thoughts on this are, is it necessarily a bad thing that we're repeating things that other people have said? Especially when the things we're repeating are studies of the anti-MLM industry and the research and thoughts of economists, attorneys, and statisticians. If he wants to call it just repeating things, he can, but I call it properly citing my sources. Repeating or regurgitating information is actually a really good thing when the information you're repeating is correct. Over the next few minutes, he gives advice on how his followers should talk with people who have an anti-MLM stance. He discusses how personal opinions and getting into arguments aren't particularly helpful, and that his followers should focus on the facts instead.
So as long as it's in this echo chamber, as long as it's there and there's going this back and forth, you're not going to gain ground. So what I'm suggesting you do is you've got to point to truth, all right? That has the highest value.
I actually largely agree with Tim here. I think that personal opinions and combative defensive rhetoric is not particularly helpful when you're in a discussion with someone who may have a different view of things than you do. I also think that pointing to hard data is best when you're trying to back up your view of things and perhaps get the other person to see where you're coming from. The problem with this is Tim doesn't really follow his own advice. As we discussed, he opened up his video by trying to discredit anti-MLMers as individuals and our character rather than discredit our arguments. Also, throughout our back and forth with him in the comments section of his video, which we go over in detail on Savy's video, he constantly used ad hominem attacks. Things like calling us high school mean girls or claiming that anti-MLMers just make anti-MLM content for money and that we're just hateful and pessimistic. All of these comments are just his opinions or baseless claims. This type of argumentation is used when someone can't actually defend their own position, and so they resort to misrepresenting, name-calling, or insulting. So what does Tim consider the facts and hard data to be? Let's continue listening to find out.
Okay, so I did a video in Network Marketing Power. It's on the YouTube channel here. What is network marketing simplified? That would give the basic data.
If I'm getting this correct, Tim is saying that the basic facts or data on network marketing or MLM consists of his definition of network marketing. I'm sorry, but a definition of something isn't data. Just because you're able to define what network marketing is doesn't prove that network marketing works or that it's an ethical, stable business model.
There's 4 false statements on one image. 99% of representatives lose money from MLM companies. Okay? That 99% is false. Lose money, that's false. The source of it, Federal Trade Commission, That's false. This picture is like false claim, okay? Because it's representing, it's showing a picture of what that is. False. So 4 different statements. All right, well, how would an average person know that? They wouldn't know that. And that's the problem, because they just think this is a fact because it says source from Federal Trade Commission. Well, if you did know, you would know that that is in the public comments, just like if you commented on a video, one of my videos down below. All right, so even though it's on the website, it's in public comments. All right, I know the person who wrote that document. He and I were in the same company at the same time. He worked for a year, said it doesn't work. I worked for 5 years, had a 6 to 7 figure income for, I guess it was 24 years or something like that. So I know it's false. I know what to look for.
So we do need to address something here. I have seen many anti-MLMers claiming that the 99% failure rate came from a study done by the FTC. This is something that I honestly thought was the case for a while too, but this is actually quite false. So Tim is correct here. The FTC, or any regulatory agency for that matter, has yet to conduct a study of the MLM industry as a whole. The 99% failure rate is actually something derived from a study conducted by a man named John M. Taylor. John did publish his findings to the public comments of the FTC's website. However, that fact alone doesn't make his findings any less valid. After John had his own encounter with an MLM called New Skin, he decided to research the true success and failure rates of the MLM industry. His findings were a culmination of over 15 years of research into several hundred different MLM companies. So John took the income statistics provided by MLM companies, and by accounting for distributor expenses and attrition rates, or how many people had left the company, he found that for the MLMs where this data was available, on average, 99.6% of all distributors made no money or actually lost money. When MLMs, for those that do, publish their income disclosures, they don't subtract expenses incurred by their distributors, and they only account for active distributors within a limited time frame. This results in income disclosures that are overly optimistic and not representative of how many people are actually losing out in any given MLM. In his video, Tim claims that this failure rate is false, but he doesn't provide any information to the contrary. He doesn't explain why it's false, he just says that it is. Later in the video, he ends up claiming that 7.5% of MLMers make $50,000 or more, which I later found out to be a very problematic statistic, and Tim and I actually got into a little bit of a Twitter beef over it, so stay tuned for that. And of course, Tim insinuates that because John failed in his MLM business, that now he's just bitter and trying to get back at the MLM industry. In fact, in the comment section of his video, Tim called John's research a fake victim cry. Again, Savy and I go over the comment section in detail, so I highly suggest you watch that video as well. This is a common tactic used by the MLM industry. They claim that anyone who speaks out just failed in their MLM business and now they're bitter. Not only is this claim false, but again, it relies on assumptions over people's motivations or character and deflects from the actual arguments to be had.
What got me a little bit curious is this phrase designed for the majority of people to fail. Designed. Okay. We're going to sell this, and we're going to give the salesperson a 30% discount, and he's going to go out and sell it. All right? And we're going to give everybody the same opportunity. So we're not going to discriminate between anybody, no color, no sex, no background, no whether you're pregnant or not, your weight, nothing. We're not going to discriminate. And we don't care, who you are. And you sell it, you make money. You don't sell it, you don't make money. How could you design that to fail? How could that possibly be designed to fail? Okay, so let's go to the let's go to the multi-level marketing part of it. So the video gentleman that I have behind the camera here, let's say that I sold him, hey, you can sell these too. All right, I'm going to help you learn how to do it. Why would I do that? Well, because I'm going to make a 10% on what you make. Okay. All right. So he doesn't know how to do it. He needs help. I'm willing to help him. I get a percentage. Okay. And he also, no discrimination whatsoever, he can do it. He cannot do it. How is that designed to fail?
In this clip, Tim is apparently confused at how the MLM model is set up for failure. I'm going to turn this over to my friend Savy, who is going to explain why the MLM structure is an inherently unstable model. Savy is the perfect person to explain this because not only is she an anti-MLMer, but she's also a small business owner and author. She has a lot of knowledge on things like product development and marketing. She knows things like how market demand and market saturation work, so she's really the perfect person to address this. Savy is also going to go into some of the details of how we discovered Tim's video in the first place, which is a whole story in and of itself. So without further ado, over to you, Savy.
What's up, my fellow small business supporters? It is Savy, your gay aunt from the 80s here, today to talk to you about a video featuring my beautiful face in the thumbnail. First of all, Taylor, thank you so much for having me on your channel to discuss this, and also thank you for coming on my channel to discuss the comment wars. Everyone, don't forget to check out the description below where we have a link to the other half of our collab, which is on my channel, where we discuss the comment fights we got into, which is just wild. Anyway, thank you so much for having me on your channel to talk about my part in this. It's important to note that he used my face in his original thumbnail. And then people were sending it to me. They were sending me like screenshots of it, like, whoa, Savy, you're in this dude's thumbnail. And I was like, whoa, that's wild, right? So, I mean, obviously I slid into his comments to be like, roast me, daddy, before the video even went up, which I probably shouldn't have started arguing in the comments before the video went up. But that's not here nor there. As someone said on one of my Classically Abby videos I posted a while back, Savy is the best person at arguing on YouTube. I don't know if that's true because the Antibot could probably give me a run for my money. Taylor, I hope we never disagree on something. Just kidding. I hope we disagree on many things because it's important not to stay in an echo chamber. And by that I mean a real version of an echo chamber, not Tim's twisted fucky-wucky definition of what he thinks an echo chamber is. After I started commenting and then people came into the comments to defend me and things like that, he changed the thumbnail and like put a stock photo in it, or what I think is a stock photo because I don't recognize it as a thumbnail from any existing anti-MLM video. But Tim went and put someone else's face in the thumbnail. He got rid of me. I'm not there. There's no more beautiful gay aunt from the 80s in Tim's video. It is no more. So then when I went to watch the video, I figured that Tim would probably feature something I said or like try to negate a point that I made or something. But I wasn't in the video. In fact, the anti-MLMer he featured was a different person, Madison Harnish of Cruel World Happy Mind. I also highly recommend her channel. She does a lot of really great breakdowns. She goes really in depth, does a lot of research, and has great video editing. So, you know, props to her. But she and I are different people. However, I think just for the fun of it, just for the sake of having a good time, I'm gonna assume that Tim just thinks Madison and I are the same person. I think maybe all anti-MLMers just look the same to him. As you guys know, Madison and I are incredibly similar. Just like her, I am 21 years old, and just like me, she is 28 years old. Sorry, that's all beside the point. Let's stay on topic. Regardless of who he actually featured in the video, let's talk about the point that he brought up from Madison that he then went on to debunk, which I will now then go on to debunk once again. Tim, feel free. I commented on your channel, leaving you my email address. You want to debate me? It would be cool if like you and someone else could debate both me and Taylor at the same time, and it could be like some public forum style debate or like some like policy style debate. Like we could do some cool shit like that, like a 2-on-2 kind of thing. Let's do it. I'd be so down. Let's make that happen. In the part where Tim was talking about Madison's quote, he brought up a quote that she had in one of her videos where she said that most MLMs are set up for failure, that most of their company structures are designed for the majority of people to fail. Then Tim went on to explain why he thinks that's not true, and he used an example in this. So I'm going to do my best to summarize his example here. What he said was he used a cell phone as an example. And he said, okay, I have this cell phone and I bought it at a wholesale rate and now I'm going to sell it to someone else. And then I'm going to reach out to this guy over here and tell him that he can sell it at he can buy it at a discounted rate and sell it at a retail rate as well. And he was like, how is that setting up for failure? He was like, because of the understanding that I am so invested in his success in selling these phones as well, that therefore I would want him to sell more because I will get a 10% commission from that. Dude, I never said, I can't read Madison's mind, so I don't know what she said, but like, I never said or thought that you didn't care about the other dude's success, so that's not even part of it. What I am saying is that you're completely, in making this point about designed to fail and then bringing up selling cell phones, he even brought up this thing, okay? So he brought up the concept that it is completely non-discriminatory because everyone gets the same product. Everyone gets the same commission structure. Everyone gets the exact same opportunity and everyone gets to sell the same exact thing. Dude, the fact that everyone gets to sell the same exact thing, or rather everyone must sell the same exact thing, is the entire problem. You are completely ignoring supply and demand and market oversaturation. That is the problem here, dude. Because let's say I have this exact cell phone. This is a Google Pixel 2. It's considered outdated at this point. But let's say I want to sell this phone. I have this exact model and brand of phone, and then I recruit someone else to sell the same ones, and I'm invested in their success, so then they want to recruit other people to do the same thing. After a while, if we all sell as many as possible, everyone will have a phone. And then if you recruited your friend into it and you both go to sell to the same group of people, well, whoever got to them first sold them the phone and the rest of you don't get to, because that's too much competition with the exact same product. My dude, okay? I run a small business. I'll do shameless self-promo. My new book just came out. The Love of Senior Dogs. If you like dogs, I wrote a book all about elderly dogs and the love they have to give. Here's an elderly dog who hikes on mountains. How cute is that? I did the art. Awesome. Okay, here's a book, dude. Here's a book. Yeah, there is an MLM of children's picture books. It's called Usborn. I covered it on my channel. Crazy shit. Anyway, so I'll be like, here's this book. Sell my books to everybody, right? So I recruit someone to sell my books to everybody. Great. I'm making money. Woohoo. Good for me. Then I tell them, recruit as many people as possible to also sell these exact same books to everybody. Well, now that you've recruited everyone you possibly can, now you have more and more and more competition. So we're on Investopedia right now. What is market saturation? Market saturation is a situation that arises when the volume of a product or service in a marketplace has been maximized. At the point of saturation, a company can only achieve further growth through new product improvements by taking an existing market share from competitors or through rise in overall consumer demand. So what we're dealing with is market saturation, right? If everyone's selling the same product, you're going to run out of people to sell them to, especially considering a lot of the products are shit. But that's even beside the point, because I don't even want to distract from the point too much, right? Because when I made my Usborn video, I had a lot of people in the comments being like, but the books are so great. Here's the reason why I love this company's books so much. And I'm like, great. You can love the books all you want. The company structure is still designed to fail. It is. Because if I sell you my phone, and then I recruit my friends, and they try to sell you my phone, you're not going to buy it from them because you already bought it from me. I don't know how to break this down any further. I feel like I'm just repeating myself. He's like, how could that possibly be setting up for failure? Because you're intentionally trying to saturate a market, dude. You are intentionally saturating a market with the same product. You're giving everyone the same product. And like, you want products to be differentiated so that people can compete based on things like quality. You're also not allowing your quote-unquote business owners, independent business consultants, you're not letting them set their own prices. So if you don't let people set their own prices and you don't let them make decisions in the production of the product itself, what are they supposed to compete on? Market competition is essential in a free market structure, my dude. That is how it works. You need competition. Oh my God, this is why we had fucking antitrust laws and shit. Tim, you're making me fly off the handle. Tim, if you can prove to me that market saturation doesn't actually happen, like, be my guest. Give it a try. But most people I've talked to and most things I've read, people have said they struggle to sell things because someone else in their neighborhood already sold it. Or they struggle to sell things because they had to focus more on recruitment because they just weren't able to make enough solely from selling products. They had to recruit other people to sell products, and dude, the market's just gonna dry up. It just is. Like, you're lying to yourself if you don't think so. So, I don't know, dude. Tim, debate me, daddy. That's all I can say. Thanks so much, Taylor, for having me on your channel. I love you guys. Check out my channel, Savy Writes Books, linked in the description below. And don't forget to support small businesses.
Thank you so much, Savvy. Everyone, please make sure you check out our video together on her channel. It's definitely worth watching. Savy actually filmed her part for my channel right after her and I finished filming our reaction to the comment section for her channel. And we both got pretty heated, and you can definitely still sense the frustration in her voice. The comment section was it was very frustrating to say the very least.
Here is how the truth, if you will, and that is looking at real estate, looking at YouTube, looking at actors, entertainers, musicians, and things like that. You get down here and it's 3% of real estate agents are going to earn the average income. You take a YouTuber and only 0.005. And so this lady is a YouTuber. 0.005. Well, this is a lot better than this, right? Okay. And then here's actors and entertainers, 0.4. Here's network marketing, and it's 7.5. So if one of them was designed to fail, then I would say that one's designed to fail more.
So here, Tim is basically saying, look, all these other industries have high failure rates too, and no one is claiming that these industries are designed to fail. He's engaging in whataboutism. Instead of discussing the high failure rates of MLMs, he brings up other industries with high failure rates to deflect from the topic at hand. This is also the data that he claims the anti-MLMers omit. He claims that we leave out the fact that other industries also have high failure rates, so that the high failure rate of MLMs seems more striking than it actually is. It's true that there are other industries that have high failure rates, but this isn't the only reason anti-MLMers say that MLM is designed to fail. Even in his study, John M. Taylor mentions that the high rates in and of themselves would not be so bad, except that the MLM opportunity is promoted as an income opportunity, or even as a business opportunity, a misrepresentation in and of itself. It's unethical and deceptive to promote anything as an income opportunity when the odds of success are slim to none. Additionally, to even have a chance at making a livable wage, MLM reps are basically required to recruit an extensive downline that they profit off of, all of whom are, statistically speaking, losing money. When anti-MLMers discuss how the structure is designed to fail, we're talking about the actual structure, not just the failure rates. We're talking about how distributors are compensated, the multiple levels of compensation, how much product is actually being sold to outside customers, and how money is floated to the top of the pyramid from the purchases of the distributors themselves. Here, Tim also throws in the statistic that 7.5% of MLMers make $50,000 or more. In his actual video, he doesn't mention where he got this stat from, and he doesn't link in the description to any specific source for the stat either. In the comment section of his video, I asked him to please provide a source to back up this claim. He never replied to me, and shortly after, all my comments were hidden from public view. I then took to Twitter to discuss how Tim failed to cite his sources and how he essentially blocked me when I asked him where he got his stat from. Tim eventually saw my tweets because someone else added him, asking him to explain why he did this, to which he responded with the following. The source of the income stat I've quoted, 7.5% of reps earn $50,000 or more, comes from a network marketing company I work closely with. This company will be publicly traded in estimated late March, and you can extract the data then. You're welcome to PM me at that time to get the company name. I have consulted over 200 such companies, and I can say that this stat may go up or down a little per company based on products, compensation plan, and available training, but industry-wide, we're in the ballpark. Okay, so first of all, in March, I will definitely be checking back with him to extract the data from the network marketing company he mentioned to see whether or not this 7.5% statistic is actually accurate. Secondly, I do find it dishonest that he apparently used a stat from one specific MLM company, which conveniently cannot be verified at this time, and spoke about the stat as though it's true for the entire MLM industry. He does mention how he's observed that this 7.5% stat is true from what he's seen from other MLM companies he's worked with, but again, He doesn't cite any sources to back this up. I replied to him with the following. You claim that this stat is in the ballpark for over 200 MLM companies you've looked at. Can you provide me with the stats from one of these other companies then? Anything you can link me to where I could find that 7.5% or somewhere around that make more than $50,000 a year? Certainly, at least one of these 200 companies has the stat publicly available, right? Well, he has yet to reply to me with a link or source, so if he does happen to reply to me at some point, I will be sure to pin a comment. I am willing to change my mind given evidence, and if Tim provides me with such evidence, I will be sure to make a correction to my video. So, Tim, show me the math. But I'm not going to just trust what you say if you can't back up your claims. So until you do, it's my opinion that this 7.5% stat is completely unverified and honestly frivolous. If MLM companies wanted to try and prove to the world that MLM is not harmful or deceptive, literally all they would have to do would be to publish stats on how much product is actually being sold to outside customers or to people outside the company itself, and publish their attrition rates, which would account for everyone who's lost and left the company over the course of the company's history. This would show that there is actual external market demand for their products and that people are finding success with their MLM businesses. But for the decades and decades that MLMs have been around, they have not released this information. So what does that tell you? So here's the thing. I understand why Tim is making videos teaching his followers about what to do if people they're trying to recruit have seen anti-MLM information. I understand it because anti-MLM content has the potential to cause massive chaos for the entire MLM industry. As anti-MLM information spreads, the more and more public awareness of the dangers of MLMs grows. I was recently watching a CoffeeZilla video where he interviewed Robert Fitzpatrick, who is probably like the anti-MLMer. He's the OG. He's been critiquing and analyzing the MLM industry for years. Something Robert said really stuck out to me. He said MLM, which is now done on an industrial scale, they have already taken care of the police. Police are in their pocket. What they are worried about is public awareness. There's a shift occurring, not because there's regulation, but because public awareness is growing. He's referring to the lack of federal regulation of the MLM industry, which has been caused by the massive lobbying of the MLM industry through their lobbying group, the Direct Selling Association. MLMs have historically had nothing much to fear from regulators, but as the anti-MLM movement has grown, they now do have something to fear. So yeah, Tim should be afraid of prospects watching anti-MLM videos. We anti-MLMers know we have the power to affect change because we've already done it. Thanks so much for watching, and a huge thank you to Savy Writes Books for partnering with me to discuss this topic. A link to the video we did together on her channel will be linked in the description, and guys, it was an epic battle of the commenters, so I highly suggest you watch it. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, ring the bell, follow me on Twitter at the Antibot, follow me on Instagram at TaylorLee_1993. Consider donating to my Patreon, which helps me to continue making quality content for all of you, and I'll see you on the next one. Say bye.